to sway us away from our objective, rebuke in the name of Jesus. And we declare, oh Lord, that as we begin, your hands will be upon us. We pray for organization. We pray for insight. We pray for speed. We also pray for precision in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for that you've done for us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. I want to once again confirm that everyone can hear me. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you from
any
you.
response yet. I'm not sure
Yes, I can hear you
there are
from
people here with me. All right, there are about 30, 31
I can
persons
hear you.
already.
Yes, I can hear you from
That's
you.
fine. All right, that's fine. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. So, right, like I said before the prayers, please keep your phone on mute. This is very important. And do observe a sense of decorum because I know there are some people who may not be around right now and may come in late, but may not take this instruction. So you don't want to be a defaulter, right? We are trying to raise people who are law-abiding and people who are disciplined as well. So please just abide by this simple rule. Also, I'm going to quickly invite the instructors, or rather introduce the instructors and TAs for this session, who will take us through the second session of today, which is Mr. Amos Aondover, Kwaghfan, and Mr. Alexander Mengesha. So I don't know if my resource persons are on air right now. Alexander and Mr. Amos. Mr. Amos, if you are around, please, the floor is yours. Just go ahead and take us through OOPS in Python.
All right, I'm here. Let me briefly share my screen. Are you people with me? So I will be taking object-oriented programming, just like the moderator have said, with Mr. Alex. I believe you people are hearing me.
Can you still repeat yourself?
Perfect.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I said we are two people who are taking this course, myself, Mr. Amos, and Mr. Alex. I'll be taking you in object-oriented programming. And I believe you are seeing my screen.
I cannot.
So let's go to... Okay, and I've shared my screen. I've shared my screen. Apart from her, who else is not seeing it?
I can see your screen on my end.
Okay. So my sister, maybe you check from your end.
If you can just please put it on a presentation mode so that it's clear.
If I can just do what?
I'm seeing every other person, but
and to put your screen on presentation mode so that the button, there's an icon close to the Zoom so that you can project properly.
All right. I think I've done that.
Okay, and sorry, one more instruction for our TAs. While you are sharing your screen, please can you look towards the more tab on the menu, and then select disable annotations. See if you can disable the annotations so that it will not allow some of the users who may not be here to scribble on our white paper.
All right. But can you now see me?
I am still checking and yet to see, but I can see every other participant here.
Wow. Let me stop sharing, go out and come back again.
Exactly. Or we can actually share from our end. Just give us
I should go out.
No, what I mean myself. Give us 2 minutes. We'll be able to share the screen. Thank you.
Okay, please do that. Okay. Okay.
So Amos, can you send these slides to our email? Because we checked and we saw the Jupyter notebooks for Python and also for object-oriented programming. We also saw the PPTX for Python programming, but we didn't find this one. Can you just send it to our email so that we can pull it up and share?
Okay. I can see the screen now.
I think my network is back.
All right, Mr. Amos, are you still there?
I can't share the screen
Hello?
because you're sharing. Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Can I go ahead? Can I go ahead?
Yes, you can go ahead.
All right, thank you. So stop sharing your screen so that I'll take over.
While you can, Mr. Amos, please email your current slides to us via our email, please. Thank you.
So Amos, we've stopped sharing. Can you now share your screen so we can move on? Since we spent about 21 minutes, we wait for you, and if we can take that, we just give like 4 more minutes, then we can be able to move on with the next section. So Amos, if you can share your screen, that would be good. If you can't share, then we will have to move to the next section and then the next 4 minutes. Thank you. Amos, what we asked you to do is just kindly send your slides to us and we can share. I think it takes less than 5 minutes to do that. If you send it to us, would have been sharing your screen, sharing our screen, and then you take on from I'll take off from there. We always do that. That's why we requested that you send your slides to us, and we have your slides. The current one we have is quite different from the one you are presenting. So we don't really know where you are. All right. So since we can hear from Amos, we'll take on from there and see how we can handle this session. So I will share my screen and then we take on for object-oriented programming in Python. So I will, okay. And I would like to apologize for taking so much time to go through that process. We hope that will be corrected. We actually had all the slides sent to us, as we always do, and we're hoping that he will share the same slides, but it seems he had a different PPTX, and that was what actually brought the confusion, and we can't see his new slides. So, but that is it. So, so I would like us to go to W3 schools, and we'll see what we can do while we wait for them for the hands-on session if they have something. But if you know about W3 schools, they have tutorials for different sections. It could be object-oriented programming, it could be Python, it could be data structures in Python. And in this case, if you type W3 schools and you type ops in Python, it's going to give you everything you need to know about object-oriented programming in Python. So I'll be going over, let me see. I want to get the, okay, yes, this is the one. And I just showed you a resource. If you're looking for something to study for Python, you're looking for Python, you're looking for data structures in Python, you're looking for programming in general and any other thing, just go to W3 Schools. It also, it doesn't just have the content, but it also does have the code. It has some sort of examples where you can be able to practice. So I'll be going over this. We'll be going over some of these things with the time we have. And I hope that in the next 30 to 45 minutes, we should be able to cover a couple of things here. So if you stayed back in the first half of our summer school today, I was showing you on how to install Python, and I will still briefly go back to it and show you here. We had this pre-lab this morning, and I will touch on this only briefly. If you stayed back, I did mention that if you don't install the core tools, these are the core tools you need to install before you're able to use Python. You have to install Anaconda. You have either Anaconda or Miniconda, and then you follow with Jupyter Notebook. If you don't install Anaconda or Miniconda, it means you can't be able to install Jupyter Lab. And Jupyter Notebook is under Jupyter Lab. It's just like a student in a lab. So, and then you'll be able to also modify the Python version you want to use. While we put 3.5 is 3.9 to 3 or 3.10, is that if you have a higher version of Python, like say 3.9, it could be 3.12, then you'll be able to run it. But if you have lesser version, like say 3.6, then you may not be able to have newer updates in Python libraries. And that's why we encourage you to have at least 3.9 and above will be sufficient for this summer school. So for object-oriented in programming as well, the libraries are inbuilt in Python, so we wouldn't need to install new packages. And also I mentioned why treating this, that after installing the core packages, then you can be able to install these specific libraries that you'll be using for machine learning tasks, statistics, and deep learning, and also natural language processing. So, and I also showed you here that if you have these operating systems, if you have Mac operating system, Ubuntu Linux, and Windows, you still need all these packages, but you have to figure out how to install this on your own operating system. And I showed you how you can use ChatGPT and modify the code on how to install, say, Anaconda using something like simply say brew install Miniconda, and you'll be able to install that brew install Jupyter Notebook or Jupyter Lab. So you have different ways of installing it, and we showed you that. And lastly, I also gave you some an example on how you can install the core packages, and also the for different operating systems like Mac operating system, and also for this other operating system. And I'll briefly ask the admins, please, if you can help Fred and all the admins, if you can accept all the other participants into the meeting, please do that. That would be very helpful. Thank you. So I'll be moving away from here, but I just wanted you to know that we're still using Python, so everything is still in Python and it's inbuilt, so we'll still be using that. Then from here, I will go back to W3 Schools. I'm right here back in W3 Schools. So I've shown you, I've treated this first part on how to install Python, and we are done with this. And the Python you need is Python 3 for this summer school. So when you see Python 3, that's what we need. And earlier on, I showed you that I've already installed Python. So if I come to my bash terminal, this environment is called bash. It's called bash terminal or bash scripting. This is the bash environment. So if I want to just run a code. Sorry, someone saying something. If I just want to run a code here and I just call Python, and I showed you how you can call Jupyter Notebook. If you want to call Jupyter Notebook, just type Jupyter Notebook. If you want to call Python, then type just Python, and you'll be able to install that. And if you want to call something like Python in this case, in this environment, just call Python. You'll be able to go to Python environment, and you can be able to do some simple arithmetics, like say 1 plus 1. The answer is going to be 2. Maybe you say 500 minus 100. You're going to get 400. So this is Python already installed on your machine. So if you don't know how to install these packages on your laptop, we still have a lab session tomorrow in the morning. So come early, we'll be able to see demo the lab session on how to install these packages, and also the session we had earlier today. And those who stayed after the session, we also showed you how to install it. And once you install it, you'll be able to have this. So we're done with this. We're still treating ops in Python, but because you need to know how to install Python, you have to also know that we're using Python 3, and then before we move to the other things. So, and I'll be treating specifically ops concepts in Python, which starts from here. So I'll just jump from all these other ones because of those who are going to teach Python programming, we handle all this. But for this class, I'm going to jump to ops in Python. That's object-oriented programming concepts in Python. So we have ops in different programming languages. We have ops in fields like in other programming languages like Java, C++, and other fields. So I'm going to pause for a minute and make the other admins here as co-host, so they can be doing this, because I was not actually expecting to teach this class. So I was going to be here. So I'm going to briefly take out some time and make few people co-host, and they can be able to approve. So this will not be a distraction to us. Okay. Okay. So our TAs, you are co-host, so you can be able to approve people into the meeting, Emmanuel and other instructors and NELIREF Research Foundation team. Please, you can help us and be approving people. And this will be able to move faster. Okay. All right, thank you. So please, our admins just try to approve as many as be joining. So going back to this, I was saying we have object-oriented programming in different programming languages, in Java, in C++, and so we also have it in Python. So, and the concepts are pretty similar in all these programming languages, just a few exceptions. So, and the major key terms you find in object-oriented programming is class and objects. Class and objects. These are the two key terms that you should note. So it uses these classes and objects for computation. So it's just like you have a bucket and you have some objects in that bucket. So if you have a bucket, the bucket is called something. And then the objects in that bucket is also called something. So the container may be called, it depends on how you want to call it. It could be a ball, it could be different things. But when it comes to object-oriented programming in different programming languages, we call them as classes, and they can have different objects in those classes. So it's just like we have the container, and then we have the objects in it. So there are key terms that you have to note when we talk about this. And if I flip it upside down, we're still going to look at it. We'll still treat it as we move on. But these are the key principles we'll be dealing with in the course of this learning. We have object, I mentioned it earlier. We have class, we have method, we have inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, data abstraction. These are the key terms we'll be dealing with. And the object-oriented programming is just like you having, I mentioned it earlier, like you having like an object and having objects in it, having a container that has objects in it, or have items. I think items is the best term to use. So if you have a container that has items in it, then how do you deal with those items? You know, if you want to remove an object an item from that container, what is that process called? If an object is encapsulated, how is it called? And so there are kind of different terms that are used when we are dealing with object-oriented programming. So you have to know that these are the key terms. So we'll be going into each and every of these to really understand what these terms mean. But in general, do know that object-oriented programming, if you go to any programming language, you are still dealing with these key terms. These 7 key terms that is saying you're going to be dealing with in any programming language. And so it is in Python. So Python is a programming language and is one of the popular programming languages out there. And when it comes to machine learning and AI, we use Python as the main programming language. We don't use MATLAB, we don't use C++, we don't use other programming languages. We may use some other programming languages for speed. That's for computation, for speed, for computation purpose. But we can't, when it comes to really doing the task, we use Python programming to be able to execute those tasks. And at this point, I'll pause and ask questions, and I'll take questions. If you have anything, please drop in the comment box. If you are following, just type a plus in the comment box. If you're not following, type a minus, and we'll follow up and explain again. So 1 minute, type a plus in the comment box if you follow. If you don't follow, type a minus. Okay. It seems majority of us are following. Okay, that's good, following. Let's take a few more. and see. Okay, so it seems we are all following. So just like we did in statistics, we'll be going over these things together, because how we design this object-oriented programming is such that it's going to be interactive. We interact with you, you interact with us, and we don't spend a different time for the hands-on session, because when we're dealing with Python, when we're doing Python programming, we will be dealing with objects, we'll be dealing with classes and all this. So we didn't actually see the need to put a different hands-on session for this particular course. And that's why you may find out that it's just this course is just for like maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour or so. So we'll be spending this time together. Well, I'll be asking you in the comment box again, can you like type what you know about object? It may be in Python, it may be in other programming languages, but can you type in the comment box what you understand about object? And let's take the feedback, let's take the answers together. Objects, okay. Augustine said objects are the items contained in a class. Okay. Nice. VP. Okay, I'm just joining. Okay, no idea. Object could be movable. Okay, object could be movable. Nice. And you all deal with items like oranges, you deal with bananas, you deal with books, you deal with different objects. And when we call objects here, we're talking about data. We're talking about data. Here in the US, sometimes if you call data, people don't understand. So I call both data and data. So whichever one you go with. So when we look at objects, are we talking about data? Are we talking about things like maybe looking at the other class we had where we were looking at I think age expectancy or life expectancy, then it's going to deal with ages. So are those ages objects? That's another question. Can we call those ages as objects? Because they are kind of like, they are sort of like data. Are they objects? Let's see from the comment box. Object is an instance of a class. Oh, I love that. Object is an instance of a class. An object is a fundamental building block in programming. Nice. Fundamental building block in programming. Object refers to anything that is contained in class. Anything contained in a class. It can also be moved. And so we just wanted to understand, if you're coming from humanities, from arts, you deal with baskets every day. You deal with bowl, you cook every day, and you carry water inside bowl. So that container is what we are calling a class. And the objects in that container is what we are calling as objects. So if I get it mixed, please correct me at any point, because sometimes we all mix objects and class in the course of teaching sometimes. So if I make a mistake and interchange them, please correct me. But just so you know that it's not a difficult concept. You are saving items somewhere. And so when it comes to data, you have like some data points where you have something like, I just asked if we have like life expectancy and we have different ages. Can we call those ages as our data or as objects? Let me get some responses. Can we have those ages as objects? I'll be looking at the comment box. Object is a data structure that contains state, behavior, and entity. Object is a subset of the main content class. Okay. Okay, ages is data. Okay. All right. So now we are kind of trying to understand what this two means. Age is data. Yes, since objects can be referred to as data. Okay. So now can we liken objects to data? Now can we have statisticians and computer scientists tell us whether objects can be likened as data? Can we take those feedback in the comment box? Can we now call these objects as our data? Yes or no? In the comment box. Emmanuel says yes, age is data. Ayo says yes. Assumpta says yes. Everybody is saying yes. Object stores different data. Okay. Object stores different data. I love that. Object stores different data. That's good. So we are now beginning to see where yes, we can call this object data. So we can now see that we're dealing with a class. It's just like you have a class. You have, when you were all in high school or secondary school, you had a class, and maybe you have a junior class, and in the junior class you have pupils or you have students inside the class. So there was a classroom, but there were people in that classroom. And in that classroom, there were students, there were teachers, and that's why someone mentioned here that an object can contain different data, because there could be students. Students are different from teachers. They are different from desk. They are different from the whiteboard. They are different from maybe marker, or maybe chalkboard, or they are different from books, different from lunch bag, different from different items, pencils, and different things you can mention. So when we talk about objects, this is what we're referring to. So just cast your mind back to when you were in high school or when you were in college, in the university. Cast your mind to the class that you attended. Begin to look around. You may even find some animals around. You may find some students, some people who are not even students, and maybe they come with a different motive. And you may find people selling. You may find different things happening around, so that could have like different things. So having done that, I will leave us with that for now, for the class, and we'll read what is here and we'll try to understand it together. Anything that has state and behavior can be termed as an object. Anything that has state and behavior, and these are the items we are mentioning. They can be called objects, and be it physical or logical. There could be things like, I don't want to go too complex now into Python. So because I assume that you don't know data structures in Python, so let me not go there. Let me go to things you already know. So I already mentioned a lot of things. In a room, you can call a room as class. Meanwhile, items in a room, you can see in my room, I have an ironing board, I have clothes, I have fan, I have AC, I have my guitar, I have my suit, I have my lamp, I have my curtain, I have a lot of things in my room. So these are the items. These are the items they are talking about. They could be physical or logical, and logical could be things like true or false. True or false is not an item, but it's kind of logical. True or false can belong to something. And when we go to Python, in proper, we'll be talking about a Boolean. True or false is a Boolean. They are the two categories of Boolean we have. It's either something is true or false. But when we come to that, you will be looking at some items that, and then maybe when you talk about list, a list could contain different things. And then we'll look at some other things, different data structures and data types. We'll be looking at all that. But just so you know that it's not just the countable items, but also things that are logical. It could be something that is true or false. You know, it could be something that is positive or negative. And these are the things you may find. And so this is not only in Python, just like I mentioned earlier. You may find the same thing, the same concepts. So you'll find the same concepts in other programming languages. And here it says an object is an entity mentioned in object-oriented programming concepts and is frequently found in Python codes. You will find this all the time, because you are dealing with them. You are dealing with them. These are the things we dealt with one of them today. And who can mention one of the objects we dealt with earlier this morning? Type in the comment box and let's see the responses. We dealt with some objects this morning during our statistics for machine learning class. Do you remember any object we dealt with? We're taking answers from the comment box. Okay, years. Okay, someone mentioned years. Any other controlling model? Okay, model. Okay, model. All right, let's take more responses. Mode, median, mean. Okay. Mode, medium, mode. Are they items? Are they actually objects? Countries? Okay. Someone mentioned countries. I love that. I love countries. I love countries. I love years. Keep the answers coming. Okay, let's stop from there and move on. So Python class, let's look at a class. A collection of objects is termed as class. So when you sum the whole number of pupils or number of students or the teacher, you sum the books, you sum the projector, the whiteboard or the chalkboard, you sum the marker and everything. It constitutes a class, and we could call that class as, say, Basic 5B, Basic 5A, GSS 1C. When we call that, we know these are the people there. We know their teacher. We know the teacher responsible for that class. We know of the students in that class. And when we call senior secondary or senior high school, or maybe I don't know how they call it, but we know some maybe they are putting on shorts while some are putting on trousers. And we kind of understand that these are quite different people. So you have to understand that a collection of objects is termed a class in Ops concept. Every class has its own unique and distinguishable attributes and methods. So every class has, I just mentioned one. I gave you an example of one where you have, you can't compare a class like, say, okay, because I'm from Nigeria, I can just compare one class, like the junior class and the senior class. Like in Nigeria, the junior class, they put on shorts. The senior classes, they put on long trousers. So that is a differentiating factor between the junior secondary and the upper. When you go to the senior secondary, you may find things like art class, science class, management class. Management distinguishes them because they are doing accounting, they are doing economics, they are doing different subjects. When you go to science class, they're doing chemistry, because I love chemistry. They are doing mathematics. Everyone does mathematics, so some things can be common. But They are doing physics, they are doing some other things. When you go to humanities, they are doing literature, they are doing government, they are doing history, and a lot of other things you can find in the art class. So here when we say every class has its own unique and distinguishing attributes and methods, then you should understand that the way we deal with the way we teach science is quite different from the way we teach literature. Literature, you have to read. The approach is quite different. You can't carry the same approach you study literature and go to the same approach in the science class. All right. You can hear me well? If you can hear me well, just type a plus in the comment box, and I will take that. If you can hear me clearly, if you can't hear me, type a minus. If you can hear me, type a plus. Okay. People can hear me, so I'm going to move on. So if you can't hear me, check your internet connection. It means your internet connection is quite poor. So we have we don't have so much time to spend in this section, but for the remaining minutes, we're going to be looking at Python method. We've dealt with objects, we've dealt with a class. Now let's go to the methods. And the methods here, we've dealt with these two. We're now going with these ones. And when we talk about this, we're going to be focusing on these methods. There are 4 key methods you will find in object-oriented programming: inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction. In most cases, you may not find data abstraction. People just call it abstraction. So if you don't see that, data, just still know that it's abstraction. In most cases, you may see just abstraction. But these are the methods you will find in object-oriented programming, not just in Python, but also in different other programming languages. It could be C++, it could be Java, it could be Matplotlib. I'm calling it MATLAB. It could be different other programming languages that we have. So we are going to be talking about this, and I will still ask you, if you are clear with object and class, type a plus. If you're not clear, type a minus. And if you have any question, type the question in the comment box before we move to inheritance, polymorphism, encapsulation, and data abstraction. Waiting for your responses in the comment box. I understand, type a plus. I don't understand, I can't follow your class, type a minus. Okay. Oh, okay. Now I see. Okay, we are moving to methods, so you don't need to understand method for now. We are moving to that. We just dealt with objects and class. All right. It seems people understand it. So Susan, can you type where you don't understand? Okay, you type 958. Okay. Susanna, can you type where you don't understand so I can come back? Just like we did earlier. You remember we did that before. Okay. I don't understand. So please, you don't need to write on the screen. I think I have to stop sharing and start sharing. Please don't write on the screen so we can have a smooth section. Please, what is the future of humanities when AI is taking over? Oh, so we're going to address that question soon. And that's why we want you also to come and learn, because AI is going to replace people who don't know how to use AI. AI is going to replace those who don't know how to use AI. AI, yes, it's going to replace some jobs, but AI cannot do work by itself. I mean, it still needs humans to be there, humans to write the code, humans to control and all that. So my simple answer would be that AI will replace those who don't know how to use AI. And that is why we're inviting you to come, and here you have an opportunity to be able to learn and know these things. All right. Okay, object and class one more time. I will do that. But Fred, how much time do I have? Because I know we started late for this session. So are you adding us some more minutes to the time allocated for this class or for this course? Can you let me know so I can keep to time? Fred, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir, you can proceed. Don't worry. Since you're already doing the job, we'll give you some extra time to account for the time we lost when we started.
Okay, thank you. So I'll be going over object and class again. And just like I said earlier, we all know objects. So when you're dealing with Python, Python is a computer programming language. A computer has to be able to deal with objects, handle data. If it's humans, you can just pick objects and just place in anything you want to place. I can pick my books, my laptop, my markers, my file, put everything in my bag. And then my bag is my class. The objects in it, the items in my bag, or it could be lunch bag, it could be anything, those ones are the ones we are calling objects. And we know objects around us. You may see trees, you may see sand, you may see food, you may see a lot of things around. Because when we deal with Python, Python is only helping us to deal with day-to-day life issues. Python is only helping us to be able to count numbers, to be able to understand diseases, to be able to understand figures, to be able to understand logic, whether something is true or false, whether someone has a disease or doesn't have a disease. So we have to understand that when we talk about object and class, they are not abstract concepts. They are things we relate with on a daily basis. They are things we work with on daily basis. You can call your body as a class, and the clothes you put on, the jewelries, and all the things you put on and all that as objects, because they're actually objects. So I'll just do that, and then, but if you're not still clear, still let us know in the other section and we'll be able to move on. My confusion is with the practical examples of object versus class. Okay, so what we're trying to say is a class is just like the mother. It's just like the container. Why the objects are the items in that container. I don't know whether this may be more clear. So the objects are the items in that container. So it's not something that is quite different from how we relate with other things. Like you go to the office, your office is a class. Why the things in your office are objects? The people in your office are also objects. Your laptop, your desktop, a lot of things in your office, they are all objects. So I'll be moving on quickly because of time, since we started quite late on this section, and we'll be dealing with these things together as well. And once you understand all this, then we are done with object-oriented programming. When it comes to hands-on skills, we know you'll be dealing with Python programming in the next section. So you'll be able to interact with objects and class and all these other methods in object-oriented programming. So Python method is similar to a function. It is just a name given to a function associated with an object. That is, in object-oriented programming concept, function is termed as method. In Python, object of any type can have methods which is not necessarily unique to any class instance. So I'll just pause here and ask us to mention some Python methods. If you know some Python methods, can you type them in the comment box? Python methods. I know Python methods, type them in the comment box. That is methods you are using to handle these objects in the class. I'm looking at your responses. I know Python methods? Type them in the comment box. Python methods. String method. Append. Oh, I love that. String method. Append. Any other one? And append is crystal clear. When they say append something, what do they mean? When they say append something, sort. When they say sort, you should know sorting out something. Append, put. Okay, start. Okay. You know a couple of methods, Python methods. Reverse, reset, index. Okay, this is good. Count, that's good, that's nice. Methods in Python. Those are the methods you are using to relate dictionaries. Dictionaries. We're talking about methods, not okay, functions. Okay. Let's see. Join, replace. Okay, nice. Join, replace, count. Nice. These are Python methods. They're the methods you are going to be using to deal with these objects, to handle these objects. So it's just like when you have an object, you remove something. You have something in your lunch pack. I have to remove my laptop from my lunch pack. I have to remove it. And removing an object from that, how will I call it in Python methods? Thank you, Bro Fred, for those added minutes. If I want to remove something, how will I call it in Python? Removing an object from, how will I call it? Removing something, how do we call it? Okay, delete. Oh, nice. Move. Okay. You can see these are common terms we know on a daily basis. But when we put it, delete, yes, that function, nice. But when they put it in remove, nice. But when they put it in Python, when they call it Python, and maybe statistics, computer science, it looks as though it's difficult. It's not difficult. They are terms we use on daily basis. Please, if you can mute the persons that are not muted. These are terms we use on. Okay. Is it now that I just muted myself? Were you hearing me all along?
No, I'm not. So we lost you for like 2 minutes.
Okay, 2 minutes. Oh, okay. All right. I don't know. Maybe someone muted me. I don't know. Okay. All right, so let's move on. So I was asking that for the next couple of minutes, let's move on to this last part, that these are the key principles in object-oriented programming. And I was asking if you know what inheritance means, what do you understand by inheritance? In layman's understanding, we are all learning together. We are all learners. Whether you are a professional or you are a newcomer, you are a learner, you are coming from humanities, and you don't understand this. I came from biochemistry, and biochemistry doesn't have anything to do with computer science, but I learned all this, you know? So when I talk, not as though I learned all this during my undergrad, I didn't learn them, you know? So I only learned this during my graduate school. So if you understand what inheritance means, we're all learning together. So let's learn in the comment box. Okay, someone say inheritance, passing of items from one person to another. Oh, nice. Inheritance. And we all know what inheritance means. You all inherit things from your parents. If your parents have some riches, the joy of parents is to beget their wealth to their children, and that's why parents are always trying to get something for their children. So you should understand these terms are gotten from our day-to-day life. They are not abstract terms. So when you hear inheritance, don't think about inheritance in computer science. Think about inheritance that you understand. Inheritance, what does it mean? You know, and that will help you in understanding. So let's go over the definitions that we have here. And I think, Bro Fred, we have been some few more minutes, because based on this time, I have 2 minutes. So I have some definitions here, which says a class inherits attributes. A class inherits attributes and methods from a parent class, but also add new stuff. Oh, so nice. We have a parent, and that was where I was going. We have a parent class, and we have let's call it the children, or the subsequent, or another class. So if a class inherits, like you are the kids, you are the children, you are inheriting something from your parents. Your parents, in this case in computer science, we are just calling them who? Parent class, because they're your parents. They're also humans. You are all humans, right? So let's say class is human. You are all class, you're all humans. It's just the difference between you and your parents is that you are your parents' kids. You are children, and your parents are parents. That's the only difference. And because they have something that you don't have, you know, you are doing something, you are inheriting something from your parents. You are inheriting wealth, you are inheriting good behavior, not only wealth, you are inheriting training. Your parents train you to carry on their family, their values. You know, you're carrying on your parents' values, you know, which means a lot to them. So it's not just item, it's not just physical things, but also it has to also deal with logic. And someone's inheritance are the properties my parents leaves for me. I love this class. This is nice. Inherit properties and methods of another class. Okay. So you're inheriting from this, you're inheriting from one generation to another. And it could also happen that you can inherit something from your great-grandparents because some were so good. Or even let's talk about even diseases. We have inheritable diseases, right? You can inherit. We have something like family diseases. You can inherit them from your parents, you know, like genetic diseases. Genetic diseases, you know, Alzheimer's could also go, you know, on family line, you know. So it could be from one generation to another generation. So when we are talking about these concepts, they are not abstract things. They are things you deal with on a daily basis. So when they convert them to a computer language or to something like this, don't think there are things you can't understand. Inheritance is taking over properties or character Okay, transfer of attributes from one class to another. All right, we are done with that. So you understand that. Let's move to polymorphism, encapsulation, and abstraction as the last. So what do you understand by polymorphism? Type in the comment box, polymorphism. Polymorphism. Okay, here it says polymorphism is based on the principle of polymorphism. Okay, OPS is based on the principle of polymorphism, which means that one task can be performed in many ways. Poly means many. We all know poly means many, you know? So, but when we talk about polymorphism in OPS in Python, what are we referring to? Let me see answers. Different forms of morphologies. Oh, nice. Different forms of morphologies. And what are morphologies? We did with morphologies in biology. What are morphology? What is morphology? We all did biology in high school or in secondary school. Structures. Okay, structures. Let's be learning together. Inheritance taking over. Okay, I'm done with inheritance. Okay, a child class can be seen in more than one form. A child class. We dealt with child class and parent class in the other inheritance as we discussed earlier. So a child class can be seen in more than one parent, in more than one form. A child class can be seen in more than one form, its own class or its parent. This is the exact definition you should be looking at when you're looking at polymorphism. You know, shapes. Okay, someone says shapes, changes in stages, different ways of handling tasks. Polymorphism in Python allows different classes to be used within the same interface, enabling functions to use objects of different types. Nice. This looks like more advanced for people who are already in computer science. So let's go back to the one that is much easier for us to be able to understand. But if you have a simpler definition, put it in the comment box while we look at this one, which says a child class can be seen in more than one form. Like a child class can be seen in more than one form. And which forms? When it comes to data structures, let me just ask, in which forms? In which forms? Which forms are we talking about? Let me see in the comment box. Oh, don't we have statistics people here and computer science? Which forms will it take? Because we're not just talking, we're talking about how, okay, arrays, okay, arrays, okay, arrays, okay. Any other ones? Okay, okay, okay. I'm seeing them now. Okay, okay, cool. So now let's go to encapsulation. OPS restrict direct access to its methods. Encapsulation, and if you know about encapsulation, what do you understand by encapsulation? OPS restrict direct access to its method and variables by encapsulating the code and data together. Encapsulate. When you look at it, when you look at a medicine, you know, a medicine. This, how do they call it? Capsule, right? I think they call it capsule. Capsule. There's something inside that, inside it, you know? So anytime you think about encapsulation, have a picture of that capsule, like that medicine that you take. And how do we use that to understand what encapsulation means? Encapsulation biologically means covering. Okay, so But in this case, in statistics, in data structures, in object-oriented programming, what do we mean by encapsulation? So what it simply means is it restricts direct access to its methods and variables. So when the class is encapsulated, when it says encapsulated, can we say they are immutable or they are mutable? Let's go to data structures now. I'm trying to take us to the next section now. So they will explain what when something is mutable or immutable is all about. Encapsulation, can we look at encapsulation in terms of something being mutable or immutable? Okay, immutable like tuples. And what do we understand by something being immutable? Because some people don't understand. I don't also understand. I'm just like Elena, just like you. So when we talk about immutable, what do we mean? Something is immutable. 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 It's like a word I've never heard in my life. A lot of us. Not changeable. I love that. I love this. Not changeable. Cannot be changed. That is something that is there, cannot be changed. It cannot be changed. When you buy a capsule from the pharmacy, you just take the drug. You don't try to change it and put something else, like maybe salt, inside that capsule. You just take it as a medicine, and it goes into your body and it performs its function. So when we talk about encapsulation, it's likened to something that is that cannot be muted, it cannot be changed. And then the last one is abstraction. So what do you understand by abstraction? Type in the comment box. Not be altered. Okay, we are all learning together. Let's be learning. Then the last one, last but not the least, data abstraction. Ops in Python data abstraction feature is used for hiding internal details and showing the functionality only. Abstraction. In simple terms, and how to understand it in object-oriented programming, how do we understand it? In the comment box, let's take feedback, let's take answers and learn together. Showing only essential features. Oh, showing only essential features. So it means it hides some internal details. Oh, okay. And in real sense, like in life situations, what could be a perfect example of abstraction? So that me, just know I'm coming from biochemistry. I'm not coming from data science. I'm not coming from computer science, math, statistics. I respect you guys. For me, I'm coming from biochemistry. So give me like something like a perfect example that I can remember, that whenever I look at abstraction, I will know abstraction, they're talking about something that hides its internal details. What hides? Okay, someone is saying vehicle. Oh, so maybe something like an engine is hidden somewhere or something inside. You say a vehicle is beautiful, but some things are hidden. Is that what you mean? Internal parts are hidden. Magic. Oh, magic. Oh, you see magic. Oh, okay, magic. Maga. Okay. I think in Asian countries, they call it maga. I think in Middle East, maga. Oh, maga. Magic. Oh, you see magic. You see, it happens in real. You see it happening, but you can't actually. It's hidden. It's something you can't actually. Oh, its internal parts are hidden. Something that can't be understood physically. Oh, you can't understand it physically. Oh, I understand. Oh, nice. Oh, nice. Oh, wow. Thank you very much. So from now, I'll be handing over to Bro Fred. I think I started 1 hour ago, and exactly 1 hour, I'll be handing back to you. Thank you very much for this time, and I hope you all understood this. If you have questions, We will be taking questions later on. We'll be moving into Python programming in proper. If you have questions, drop in the comment box, and we'll stay in Python programming, and we'll be taking those questions from there. Over to you, Bro Fred. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, our esteemed director, Luper Tsenum. Thank you for such a wonderful and excellent delivery of the object-oriented programming session, and also you did it so well. I want to use this medium to ask if there's any question, just briefly. Let's say if there's one or two questions regarding what he has tutored on. Any question? I would like to just give someone the opportunity just before we enter into other session, right? So if you have a question that you just want to get out of your chest, something that I'll give just two persons the opportunity to ask a question, then our instructor is going to give a direct answer immediately. Can you all hear me? I hope I can be heard. So if I don't get any response, we'll be moving straight into the next session. Okay, so I'm going to presume there is no pressing question, because if there were or there was a pressing question, I believe by now somebody would be agitated to say it out. All right, so we're going to go into Python programming proper right now. What we dealt with is object-oriented programming in Python, and now we are doing Python programming. Those are two separate concepts, by the way. So I'm going to be inviting Mr. Alex and Mr. Amos. They are the duo who are taking charge, who are instructors and TAs for this session, by the way. So I'm going to be inviting Mr. Alex right now to come take us on the Python programming session. Thank you.
Oh, Peter Denen, are you there? Peter Tsaha, I think.
Yes, I'm here.
All right. So, Bro Fred, can you check your list? I think you called object-oriented programming. So, can you check your list again? So, Bro Fred, we just finished object-oriented programming. So, you still call the instructors and TAs for object-oriented programming? Can you double check? Bro Fred, are you still there?
I'm actually here. Yes, I can hear you. I was speaking, but I didn't know I was muted. So my bad. Sorry. I was speaking, but not until you called out that I knew that I was muted. So I'm saying that apologies. We're in a new session now, which is Python programming, and we are going to be featuring 4 resource persons, 1 instructor, and 3 TAs. Mr. Amos Aondover Kwaghfan, Mr. Emmanuel Ocholi Benjamin, Mr. Terkuma Saaondo, and Mr. Peter Denen Tsaha. So I'm going to quickly hand over to the instructor, who would tell us, lay the grounds for how we're going to do the training for this session. Mr. Amos. Or has the roles been switched to Mr. Peter?
Yes, actually, he asked me to take it.
Okay, all right. So sorry, if he asked you to take it, so the floor is yours now, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. I welcome all of us to this training. I want to thank everyone for staying from the beginning to this time, even those that joined later. I want to thank the last instructor who has just done great justice to most of what I have to do in Python programming on this platform. I'm starting at 3:31 and we have much to cover. So please, Bro Fred, please you can help me time when my time is getting a lot. I know I have to take the theory and hands-on. I will quickly do that because much have been said already, and I don't think I will need to be going over a lot of things during the course of the training. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen from here.
Okay, sir, just so you know, I understand that we are a bit behind schedule because of the time we spent in the first session, like the very first topic that we're supposed to deal with. There was a little lag. So I'm going to be looking at that. So you have about an hour from now, which is this is going to be 4:30 West African time. You should be done. You'll be through with
Okay.
your session. All right, thank you.
Okay, so do I need to, is that for the hands-on and the theory?
Okay,
Hello,
that's
Fred?
going to be, yes, I'm with you. Yes, I'm with you. I'm trying to answer that. So that's going to be inclusive of just the theory session. The hands-on will be another extra 15, 20 minutes, by the way. And then we're going to,
Okay.
yes.
Okay, just like I said, much have been said, so I will not have to dwell a lot on many things that have been said again, so that we save time. All right, I welcome all of us again to this training section. I think I will need to share. Can we see my screen?
Yes, we can see it. Go ahead.
Okay. So this is the Python programming. This is the course content we are going to be covering. These are some of the things that we hope to brush over briefly.
Can you put
And
it as it was before? Sorry.
sir?
Can you share the full screen?
Okay. It's okay now?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, we can see you. Yes.
Yeah, next. Okay, so in this training day, we are going to be just going over some little introduction to Python programming, the basics. We need the operators, expressions, and control flow, working with Python data structures, functions, and modular programming. And then we go on to the hands-on exercises. There are some exercises we hope that at the end of this training, we should leave you with so that you try your hands on them and get started. There are real life projects that we can try our hands on. So I would have loved to go over to installing the installation, but it has been covered. So, and I'm sure by now we know what Python is because many people have defined Python, have said good things, a lot of things about it. I wouldn't want to repeat it, but I just want to emphasize that if you are considering learning any programming language in this modern time, I recommend Python seriously for anyone that want to go into programming. Maybe you are just new, you are not having a STEM background, you're not coming from the sciences, and you want to go into programming. Even if you are coming from the sciences and you don't have programming experience, the best one I can recommend for now is Python, because I started with other programming languages, but I later discovered that Python is actually one of the best programming languages to learn. It has wide applications. It had wide place you can apply it, and it's very, very simple to learn. So that is that on what Python is. It's wide. It has wide range of application in where it can be applied to web development, data science, automation, and more. There are more things coming up that we can use Python programming to achieve with. So I recommend that if you are considering learning any programming language, Python is the best one for you. It's very easy to start with. The installation process have been covered very extensively. I'm sure by now those that are following have a platform, an environment they are using to run their code. So I don't think it's necessary for me to go over the installation process. Can I get some reactions? Do I need to do that?
No, I agree with you.
Okay. So one of the environments that I love to work with is VS Code. VS Code, why I prefer that is it's not online based, and it has a lot of extensions you can install, and then it will work like like an like like uh it can help you even in the debugging, because it spots out areas of error. If there is any error, it helps you pop out. But if you don't install those extensions, you may feel that VS Code is not important. There are many IDE that are very easy, and the ones online, we have already been introduced to Jupyter Notebook and Google Colab. Those ones, they don't need installations. They are very, very easy, and then you can go ahead even without installation and run Python codes on that. So maybe I should go over some little things, because I'm sure some have just joined, and if they have installed VS Code or Python if you have installed Python, how do you know that it is running? Lupe explained that, but I just want to do a quick overview of that. You can come to the search section and type Python. When you type Python, you can type maybe you can check terminal. You can check terminal or command prompt. This is the environment I'm trying to get. You can check for terminal or command prompt. You can write CMD, it will bring you to this place, and then you open it. And in this environment, this dark environment, just type Python. Type Python, then -- version.
We are sorry, we can't see what you're doing. Sorry.
Okay, you can't see this.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
Okay,
we can only see the file. So what you're doing currently, we can't see, because you basically maximize your screen and it's full screen, so we can't really see what you're doing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me try to fix that. Okay, let me open that and share my screen. I'm trying to share. Okay.
I believe you have to minimize the file Introduction to Python Programming Basics.
Yes,
First, because
I've minimized that. But I noticed that my screen sharing is paused.
Oh, okay. So let me try to come in to help. So allow multiple sharing. Okay, I'm going to replace the current one and then I'll still go back and give it back to you. All right, I took over and then I'm going to stop. Then you take on from there. Take up from there.
You say?
You can start sharing now. And I think if you want to share, I think you share from your desktop. If it's from your
Can you see this
desktop, you can
now?
move around any of the any place you
Yes, we
want.
can see your command prompt now.
I see now.
Okay,
Yes,
okay.
your AMD line is
Sorry, there
showing.
was a there was a technical error. I discovered I stopped sharing. I didn't know why.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so when you get this, you can type Python -- version. And when you hit enter, you will see the version of Python that is installed. And this assures you that you have done the right thing by you have successfully installed the program on your computer. So you go ahead, when you come to the search section, you can also search for IDEL, or you can search for Python. You see the IDEL there. IDLE. Let me share this too. I don't know why it is not.
I think it's safer to share your entire screen rather than a window, so that once you navigate in between windows, we see what you're doing.
Okay. So let me share the entire screen. Can we see my entire screen now?
Yes.
Okay. So can we see this?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for the feedback. Okay, so when you get to this environment, you can, this is an environment that Python provides for those that, just to run some codes, you can run some expressions, Python expressions here, and they get executed. For instance, you can type 1 plus 2. It returns 3, a string 3. You can type 4 minus 2, enter. No, that is not the right thing. But if I go back to edit it, you see, it can't allow me to edit. I really meant to type minus, but it's an underscore that appeared. But I can't edit it. I'm going to, you see, that is why this is not an ideal environment for you to write any full Python program. But it's just a learning environment. That is, IDL is Integrated Development Learning Environment. It's just for you to try out some codes. But if you want to do any real programming in Python, you have to download all the download and install all the packages that were introduced to earlier. You see, the installation process, many people don't like it, but it's very important. Once you get it installed once, you keep using it all the times. So it's very important for us to get to know how to install and then run. This easy one will not take us far, but it can help you to try something. You can say 2 greater than 1. It returns a Boolean value. But if you say 2 greater than and you hit enter, let's see a syntax error. We have been explained what syntax error means. It's not like grammatical error. It's wrong grammar. When there is anything wrong, when you you don't follow the syntax, the way things are to be done, you try it, the Python interpreter will pop up an error and you have to debug it. But here it doesn't give us any opportunity to debug our code. So that is why this is not an ideal environment. Having said that, let's go over to the environment that I'll be using. I'll be using VS Code. I don't think there will be much time for me to go over with the installation process. I'll be using VS Code at my end. If you are there, you can be using any other thing, any other one that you have already downloaded and you were using for the course. So here in VS Code, this is the environment that it presents. So how do you run Python codes in this environment? If you are new here, there are things and you want to get started. We are going to, from this introduction to Python, from this point, we are on this first program. After installation, there are a couple of things we have done to show that it has been successfully installed. Then you validate your setup and then you run your first Python code. Want to run our first Python code. Okay, so trying to get back to my next slide. My previous slide. This is the point I am. The traditional hello world. How can you type that in VS Code here? We are going to be covering that more in the hands-on section, so I won't bother us now with that. And we have to understand operators and expressions. What is an expression and what is an operator or an operand? Okay, so we have already, that's why I said much of what I have to say has been covered. But in Python, we have operators such as arithmetics, that is addition, multiplication, subtraction, and division. We have comparison operators. We have logical operators. We have assignment operators, and we are going to learn how to use them in expressions by combining the operators and operands for calculations and logical evaluations. And we are also going to be dealing with variables, data types, and the input and output functions. These are very basic and very important foundations we need to get in Python programming to be able to navigate our way when we get to advanced Python programming. And we'll also be dealing with We'll also be dealing with conditional statements and loops. These are very, very impressive things to learn in Python. Variables, we already said they are like containers. Or let me share a picture with us that explains this data type. I use that picture to explain what data types are. And in the hands-on section, we are going to be seeing more of that. This is a Python data type. We have numbers, we have Boolean, we have set, we have dictionary, and we have sequence data types. In the under number data types, we have int, that is whole numbers. We have float, which are numbers, but they are like int, but they have decimal point. Wherever you see a decimal point on the set of numbers, you know that it's a float data type. And the complex one has the complex part. It may be I here or J. Those represent the complex aspect of the data type. And when you type this in a variable and you check the type, you will see that it will show that it's a complex number. Here you have Boolean, which are true or false. They have two options, can either be true or false. Then we have the set, you can define a set, the data type set, and you can also define a dictionary. Dictionary is known as a value pair, a key value pair. Sorry, that is a key value pair. It has a key. This one is a key and the A is a value. This is how you define a dictionary. It's also one of the data types in Python. This is then the sequence data type. We have string. Under sequence, we have strings. Okay. Okay, this is a string. This is string contains only characters, and then we have list. A list is defined in this way using these braces. This is a bracket. We are going to be discussing the difference between list and tuples more in the hands-on section. And we have covered, I think some other instructors have already spoken about this. By now, some of us must have had an idea what a list is and a tuple. We say list, this is how it's defined. Lists are more used. They are used very often in Python programming than tuples. Tuples are immutable. Immutable. We're talking about, in the last section, we're asking what immutable means, and somebody was trying to, many people gave their input. Immutable, it means unchangeable, it cannot be changed once it's defined. So that is the nature of tuple, where the list can be modified, can be added, things can be added even after it has been declared, after a list has been declared, can be updated, things can be removed from it, things can be added, and like that. So it's more flexible. But these tuples are mostly used when you are defining constant, things that you don't want them to easily change. You are not intending to tamper with them easily. You will put them in tuple, things like constant, because you are going to be using them in the function, and you don't want them to change. They are already established functions like pi. The value of pi should not be changing during your program. So you will include it as a tuple so that it cannot be muted during the course of your program. So we talk of variables. Okay, let me talk about what now? Those are the data types. I'm coming back to variables. Variables, all of these things, we are going to see more of them. Variables are like placeholders. They hold the data for us. They are places just like our bags. We store money inside. We can store different amount of money in different bags. And whichever bag you open, you will see the amount you store in. You may decide to choose a bag to store your clothes. You will choose another one for money. You will choose another one for books. Different, so they have variables that have different types, contain different types of data. Others can store int, some boolean, some different data types. So we are going to be seeing how we store different data types in different variables. Conditional statements and loops. Conditional statements are statements that defines or try to condition a computer to behave in a particular way as the programmer intends. If you want to, if there are conditions, maybe like you want a particular thing to happen, or most times, let me use a real life example. When you are assigning grades to a performer, to a group of, to scores, maybe you are a class master and you are assigning grades, you want to assign different grades to different performance. The grading is based on the scores. So the subject where someone score high, maybe above 70, you should assign A. If the score is below 70, you should assign a different grade. If it's below this, you assign this. So it helps you to use this conditional statement to define and handle different conditions as they come. So the computer, when you program it, it now checks for the data depending on what the user puts in or what is being fed at the moment. It will take a decision and assign the particular grade depending on the value. And anytime you change the value, a new grade shows up. And you can also loop through. Again, we have some types of loops. We have for loop, we have do while loop, we have while loop, and they are very handy in manipulating data. That is under data flow, code flow. The way you code executes, the way your code executes using if else, and the if else is when you issue a condition, you say if the score is greater than 100. If the score is greater than or equal to 70, it should give a else. That is when the else condition comes in. When the first condition is not met, what will happen is what is included in the else condition. Hello? Is anyone getting me?
Yes, keep it going.
Yes, it's clear.
Okay, so that is how to those conditions, those conditional statements help you to condition under different circumstances, and they handle different, the same code will handle different instances as they come. And that is what we call data iteration. You can iterate through them, through the loops. So we are going to cover that if we have space. So let me go to the next slide. From my phone and the environment, I had to come and stay here just to get constant light, and it's not very convenient, but I will do my best. Okay, working with Python data types. We have lists, tuples, sets, and dictionaries. I've already shown us a diagram that explains, and I've run through the explanation. So I will not have to spend much time here. I was defining dictionary as a key value pair. You can call the value and you can call the key, you can call the key and the value appears. So we have to understanding these structures is fundamental for effective programming. It's very, very important. Accessing and modifying data. Here we hope to let me briefly talk about indexing and slicing. Indexing, like the previous instructor already explained. Indexing, when you store a value in a variable, it assigns it various index. Let me use a diagram. Maybe you can understand it better from the diagram. Okay, for instance, this name is a variable. Can we all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this name is a variable, and the value that is stored in this variable is John. And obviously, this value is a string. It's a string because it's letters. Whenever you see letters, whenever you see letters, not just that there are letters, but this square brackets makes it a string. When you put your value in these inverted commas, these double commas, you are intending to save it as a string. Even if there are numbers, they will be saved in this variable as a string. So when you save it in the variable, the indexing, the index that is assigned, you assign all these to different memory locations so that the indexing of the first one is 0 going this way. This green one is showing us towards the right. If you are counting from J to N, the 0 is for J, is the J index, and the J is for 0, then O is 1, then H is 2, and then N is 3. If I'm coming from left to right, the N is -1, while the H is -2, O is -3, J is -4. So this is how Python assigns index to any value, even if there are many, if they are up to 20, it starts from 0 to 19. So when it comes from this way, it starts from -1 to -20, if they are up to 20. So this is the typical structure of what indexing means. And slicing, the next one that I want to talk about is slicing. Slicing is very important because most times you don't want to use the whole data, the whole string, or you don't want to fetch a part of it. Just like you buy bread, you don't eat the whole bread in a day. Most times you don't eat it all at a time. So you take out the slice. You slice the one you will take for the moment, and you keep the other ones maybe for next time. So slicing is a way of cutting or extracting a portion of the data for use for a moment. Maybe you have a lot. For instance, in this diagram I've just shown us. Okay. Okay, but maybe like this structure, let me just use this structure. It's saved in, if it is saved in a string, the S, this first S, you may just want to use the last four values, or maybe a list of numbers. You just want to start taking it. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You just want to use a portion. Then you slice from the point you want to take, and then you use it for the meantime. Meanwhile, the main data is still kept. We can add, remove, or update elements in each structure. Grasping this operation is essential for dynamic data manipulation in your program. You may not, just like I've just explained, iterating through data. Explore techniques for looping through various data structures, which allow for efficient programming and transformation of stored data. You store data in the variables. There are ways you can iterate through them and access the portion you want for use. Functions and model programming, creating reusable code. You can use functions, and this is I will just explain it, but I know it was covered in the object-oriented programming, defining some function, the class, and what all the attributes that goes with it, like inheritance, and all that our instructor just covered. Functions are reusable code blocks that help organize your programs. You can learn how to define functions. We have already covered that. Can pass parameters in the function and return values for effectively tackling repetitive or complex tasks. So I will not be talking about functions in this aspect. The last presenter covered extensively. You didn't cover so much, but I encourage us to learn when you get the basis, because this is an intermediate level of Python. You can advance and look at this. Training is basically to prompt you into things that exist so that you go and search out and try your hands on them so that you get more and more effective in it. And just like you said, you can always drop your questions and they'll be well attended to. So this is the point I want to stop for this theory aspect. There is I'll be sharing my Jupyter notebook with us so that we can follow on the hands-on training. Hello?
Hi, we are here.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
We can hear you.
Yeah. You said
Please?
VS Code and you're now selling Jupyter.
I can hear you very well, sir.
Yes, I will explain that.
I don't know if I have the floor now. Are you done, sir?
Yes, Mr. Fred. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. So I think, Bro Fred,
Can I ask a question?
So
go ahead, the director, please let me hear you first. You're trying to say something.
all right, thank you. Yeah, so I think based on what we had on this section, and I think you finished quite early, so we could just move to the hands-on section, which I feel, because I took that section last year and it was quite big and a lot of people were able to learn. So I think we are still using almost the same thing. So when he moves to that section, if you have questions, you can ask more in that section. So I feel we should just move straight into that section, and then you can be asking your questions as we move into that section, and then you can try to share and show us how they can be able to have access to the Jupyter notebook. So, and try to explain just like you were there when I came back to show and I kind of demo how they can use the Google Colab and also the Jupyter notebook. So if you can demonstrate and show them how they can have access to that and work with you, and I think that will be very helpful, because the essence of this session is that they are able to do it by themselves and we are able to support them. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, all right. I assent to that too. So we'll just move straight into the answer session. But there's a question here. Someone is saying, you were saying you prefer using VS Code, but now you're saying it's Jupyter Notebook. Can you clarify on that, please, so that we're on the same page?
It's okay. I have I have the notebook. Okay, maybe it's a mistake first of all that I said I'll be using the notebook in my VS Code environment. I can run, I can upload, I'm going to show us how I can upload my Jupyter Note, I download it and then bring it into my VS Code and run it. The reason why I do that is because it enables me to work offline. Can we hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Just keep
Yes,
going
we can
on.
hear you
We're able
perfectly,
to hear
sir.
you clearly.
Okay, so this is once you have uploaded, I'm even thinking of where to start that would be very basic. But this is my Google Drive. I want to share the link with us. It's already here. I've uploaded it here. So I want to share the link with us here so that we can get access to the material so that you can follow me. I think please, Mr. Fred, what time exactly am I going to stop? Is it by 5?
All right.
Is it by 5?
Can you hear me? Ideally um you had up to 4:30 WAT West African time. But now that you finished about 20 minutes earlier, so you still have, let's say, about 50 minutes for this session. So
Okay.
you end by 5, yes.
Okay, so let me be more meticulous now because that theory part, I know that just to go over it because much has been said about that. So when you want to go, I'm trying to share the link to. I've already shared the link. So I want to, okay, this is my environment. Now I can come now. This is the slide.
All right,
This is
sorry, we
the,
don't have the link. Do you mean in the chat box?
no, let me open this up.
And also, if you can grant access, so that just like Alexander did, he shared, but we're not able to have access. So if you can
So
grant us access to the notebook, then
yes, I will try to.
yes.
I will try to do that.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm opening the notebook in my, I came here, my drive, and I'm trying to open it. It has opened up. I will come to share. It's loading. Then I'll come to, this is anyone with the link.
Yes, just copy the link by the left.
Yes, anyone with the link can edit it. So you just copy, I'll copy it and then share with us so that you don't have any restrictions when you try to open it.
Okay. Nice.
Please let me see if anyone has been able to access it.
Yes, we've seen it now.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much.
Yeah, we have access to it. You can go on.
Okay, so I've also opened it from my, okay, this is the Google Colab platform. And if you are here, you can actually download it to your system. Where did I?
So, Saab, maybe because of time, can we just do everything here on Google Colab so everybody understands everything, understands the Python, and at another time or when they watch the other sections, they can understand how to use Jupyter Notebook, the VS Code, and also the Google Colab. But for now, can we just maybe like focus only on this Google Colab, and then you walk us through the Google Colab because everyone has access to the link. They can just launch it and follow you through and be able to do everything.
Okay, it's okay. Thank you very much for the observation. So let's go ahead with it from here. Maybe a quick explanation of a few things here. This is the name of the file. This is the code cell. In this place, you can combine your notes with the code. So you insert the cell you want. This is in case you are not familiar with this environment. You insert the code cell when you want to code. You insert the text cell when you want to run text. And then you can use this to search. If you click here, maybe you want to search for anything as you type. If you say data types, maybe you don't want to go through the whole. As you start data type, you see options below of things that are contained. If you click built-in data types, it will take you to a section that contains that. So that is how to use this. And if you want to use the code section, there's maybe you want to insert a code section below here. This is just a quick overrun of the environment in case you are new to the environment. If you click here and you click on this code, it is going to insert a new code cell below. So you can type your things here. You can type everything here. You can type print. And you click on this play button and it will run. It's processing now, it's running. Okay, this is what it prints out. I've used the print function to output or to render this string, hello world. So this is how to insert a code cell and to enter Python program and then run it. This is how to run it. In case you are new to it, you can as well, maybe you want to make some notes about this. You can insert the text cell. Each time you click, it inserts the cell below the active cell. So you can type in what you want now, how to render your Okay, so you can type just like in Microsoft Word. If you are used to Microsoft Word, it gives you an opportunity to type and then to do a lot of things. This gives you a lot of clarity. It helps you to understand. Before, in other code editors that I've used, you use comments to give description to the code, but here it has given a very good environment so that you can type a lot of things and also run codes in the same environment without any installations. So I think it's a very great opportunity. The only disadvantage I have about it, which is not a serious disadvantage, is that it is run online. It is online based. So I want to delete the cell. I just come here, right click and delete all. As you highlight it, you see at the end of it, you see the delete option here. When you click on they run all. If you want to run all the cells at the time, you can click on this run all. And beside here, you can see these three dots, these three lines and dots beside them. You can click here to see an outline of all that is contained in the notebook. So this outline is like a table of content. You can just click on any one, you access that particular portion. So if you are following me, I think this is a great way to navigate through the whole content easily. You can choose any part and locate it and study per time. If you want to study about indexing and selection, you can just go there and start from there without going all over or scrolling down and looking for it. And you can as well use the search option here, like I've already shown us. So I think that is good enough. We have familiarized ourselves with the environment. So let's go over the course proper. The first aspect we started was data types, and there is a diagram at the beginning of this material that describes or explains what data types are very well. These are this data type. We have primitive and containers. We have integers, floats. Integers, we said they are numbers, whole numbers from minus infinity to infinity. And the float aspect is any set of integers that has a decimal point in between. It can be at the end or beginning or in between the numbers. Once there's a decimal point, to know that it's a float. That is why it is a branch of the integer. It's branching from the integer. It's just the decimal point that makes the difference. The Boolean data type is the one we say is yes or no. It's true or false. It can be on or off. That is the nature of it. But when you store, it turns out it values are either true or false. And then the none. The none data type they are used most times for initializing the variable. When you don't want the variable, you don't want anything to be stored in the variable. When you declare it, you can declare it and keep it for subsequent use. So you set it to be none, so that in subsequent time you will know how to manipulate it later, so that there will no confusion of some data that are there that you were not aware. Sometimes you initialize and then start running the process. Strings, I already say they are characters. They are mostly alphabetical, or that from letter A to Z. Even numbers or any other thing that you want to store as a string, you include it in inverted commas, it's automatically a string. We are going to be dealing with data conversion, so you know how you can convert any other data type into any of these ones, or even a string. You can convert others to a string, and convert a string. You can convert other data types into a string. Even numbers can convert to string data type. And the way you do that is just by including the number in inverted commas. So here, in this type of data type, the containers, we have the list. This is the one these are the things you define the container and the things you want to put in the container. It's just like you have different containers in the lab. They have different labels. So you put different chemicals in different containers. In the kitchen, you have different containers. You put different things in the containers. So that is the nature of operation that this container data type operates. If you define a list, there are defined things. Another arrangement, you define the things how you want it to be in the container. And the tuple, you can also define it. You define it and store the data inside as you desire. And then dictionaries. This dictionary also follows a structure arrangement. The value is attached to a particular, the key is attached to a particular value so that when you call the key, the value shows up. So I think we have dwelled enough on the explanation. Let's see how these things function in real life. So starting and using variables. This is a variable. My favorite color. My favorite color is a variable. So since this material is very explained, I will just be going over it. If I'm too fast, you can draw my attention to that. If anyone is lost, you can also notify me. And if you have questions, you can drop in the chat section. I believe there are people that will be attending to your questions or at the end of the training. So this is a variable name. From here to here is the variable. Variable name is equal to blue. This blue is called the value, while this is the variable. And this equal to is called an assignment operator. It's an assignment operator. We have other operators like arithmetic operators, like we mentioned before, but this one is used to assign a value to a variable. So because of these strings that are these quotation marks, these double quotes that are surrounding this blue, that makes this blue a string variable. And this variable is stored in this my favorite color. This is to say that my favorite color is blue. So when you define this, you run it. This is where we define it. We have set the value, and this is where you run it. You call it here, and you run it, and it shows down. But you see, this is showing me an error because I have not instantiated this one. I need to run it here first. When this green mark is showing, when this green mark is showing beside, know that it has already run and this value is registered in this variable. So that is when you can run this and the output will come out as blue. So this shows that this blue is stored in this my favorite color. With this explanation, subsequent ones will understand better when such things happen. I don't know if you have experienced that. You try to run anyone and it doesn't run. Maybe there is a missing, the data was not registered. That is why it didn't recognize it and it is showing error. So you try to check back and run the variable that is responsible for the subsequent ones. Okay, so let's continue. This is how you can assign different, you can assign multiple data to multiple variables at a time using this line of code. This is one of the things that makes Python very easy. With a single line of code, you can achieve so many things. It makes it very clear. This is color 1, color 2, color 3, and the assignment is we are to assign this and red, green, and blue to this color. So the way it works is this red is stored in color 1, and green is stored in color 2, and blue is stored in color 3. These color 1, 2, and 3 are variables. They are variables. So we can run color 1 to see what is the content. let's run this first. Once this mark is showing here, you know that this is acknowledged, this is registered, this is instantiated. So you can run this and it will come out red. So let's try changing this red to maybe black. If we change it to black, you will see that if we run this, it will no more be red. Okay, let me run it back. I didn't run it after changing the color. That is why it's showing an error. So when it's showing red, but if I run it now, it will show black because I've changed the value of this variable. So you will note clearly that this first one is to be stored in the first. It works. So at the center, you can also assign a particular value to different variables. We have 3 variables here, and we have to assign a particular value to all of them. So instead of saying color 4 is equal to magenta, color 5 is also equal to magenta, and this, you will cover many lines of code, and this straight one single line of code can achieve what you would have used 3 lines of code to achieve. So this makes your code clean and straightforward to understand. When you run this, you will discover that the content of each of these variables is this magenta. This is the value that have been passed into all these variables. Using this assignment operator, color 4 is equal to color 5 is equal to color 6. In the previous ones, it was separated with placed with equal to, which is an assignment operator. So this is a okay, so let's try to run. This last one, I will not run all of them. It's already showing, the value is already showing. If I change this value, all the rest of them, maybe I change it to gray or green and run it, all the variables will now be green. Let me run this last one. This is green. If you run the rest, you will see green. You can change the value stored in a variable by assigning a new value to it using another assignment statement. When you assign value to a variable, the old value is lost and no longer accessible. All that I've changed, since I've changed this value to green, it was magenta, I've changed it to green. You cannot run this and see that old value again. It has gone. And it is the last one that you set in. It's the last value you set in a particular variable that remains. So don't think you will set it and then change it later, but the former one will still be there. That is why as we proceed, you will see how we can copy values from a variable and maintain the previous one so that you can fall back to it subsequently if you need it. So you can set this red to this and call it here, and you see red here. If I change this red to another color, okay, this is red, and as I run this, it's showing blue. So let me run this. It is marking now. If I run this now, you see that it is red. If I change it again and run this and call it here, it will change. So you will never see the former color that was there because there is a change. Okay. So while you're assigning a variable, you can use the variable previous value to compute the new value. This counter is set to 60. You have set it to 60. The initial value is 60. I want to add some more values. Maybe you are working in a place where data is coming in constantly and you want to be upgrading the value of the counter. So you have set it to be 60, but subsequently, as data is coming in, you want it to be updating. So you can set it, you can use the previous value to augment the new one. So how do you do that? You say counter is equal to counter plus 1. That is when 1 is added to it. If you run this, if you run the new counter, this is a new variable. This one here is good as 11. So because it's 11 that is stored here, and you have set a new and then so it is going to reset the other one by add 1 to it before saving in the new variable. So if you run it here, you will see 12 because 11 plus 1 is 12. So that is how you augment the value of the previous variable. If you come to, because this tag has been very repeated, you can as well use other operators. This is addition. You can also use subtraction, multiplication, and division. For instance, if I say this counter is equal to counter plus or counter times 3, and I run this, I'll come here and call it. You see that 11 times 3 is 36. This 11 was multiplied with 3 and set to this value, and then he has given me a new value. So when you have this instance, there is a clear and a straightforward way that Python has provided for this kind of code so that you don't need to type this and also type again. This is called an augmented operator, assignment operator, augmented assignment operator. You use this line of code to achieve that counter plus equal to 4, plus equal to 4. That means the counter should add 4 to the value that was in the counter and save it in this counter. So when you run this, here counter is 10. You run this, is showing so when we get to this point, this is counter. The counter is now, the value of the counter now is 22. That is 14 plus, no, it means, let me trace back. This is 10. 10 plus 4, that is 14. And then count plus equal to 4. 14 plus this is 18. Then 18 plus 4. That is what is given. That is what the new. That is what is the new value of this counter. If I call it, you will see that this is the value that is stored in it currently. This 22 that is showing here is 14 plus 18. Wait, let me go over it. Counter is equal to, this was 10 plus this is 14. We augment this and save it here. We call it here showing 20. This is 26. So what I'm trying to explain here is this is an augmented assignment operator. It adds the value here to the initial value of the variable and then assign it back to the variable so that when you call it, you see the new value displayed. Instead of typing counter is equal to counter plus 4 or counter is equal to counter times 4, you can use this and it makes your line of code shorter and more clean, provided you understand the way it is working. Hello? Hello?
Yes, we are listening. Yeah, hi,
Okay,
we are listening. We can hear you.
So now this is the new value of the counter. If I come here and call it counter and run this, we see the new value 38. This is 26 plus 4 gives you 38. So, okay. So, but this is the value that is stored in this counter. So, when I call it, this comes out. One thing I want to show is that Python is case sensitive. It is case sensitive. If you use counter a capital 1, you don't get, you can't get the value. Like if I run this one, it's counter the same spelling with this, but if I run it, it will give you, it will turn out an error that the name counter is not defined. The name counter is not defined. So it means this counter, but now let me write it in lower cases. Now write it in lower cases and call it and run it. You will see that the value, the same value that is here, has been displayed. So if you type, I'm going to talk about defining variables. There are rules to how you define variables. Because Python is case sensitive, you cannot define it in lower cases and call it in upper cases and expect to get the same result. Once you change it from lower to upper or upper to lower cases, it can't recognize it as the same variable. So let's look at some conditions on how to assign variables. Variable name. A variable name must not start with a letter or underscore. A variable name must start with a letter or underscore character. That is the first condition we have here. It cannot begin with a number. Please, we need to get this very clear. I don't want to rush at this point because many people get this wrong. And when you are trying to run your course, you discover that it's the variable name that is causing a lot of troubles. So don't start a variable name with 2 or 3 or any number. It must be an underscore or a character. The second one is a variable name can only contain lower, that is small, or uppercase, that is capital letters, or digits, or underscore. It's clear. That is alphabets from lower cases A to Z, capital letters A to Z, and numbers from between 0 to 9. And then underscore. Those are the things that must start a variable name with. So here are a list of some variable names. A variable name, the first one is variable name is set equals to, is set, the value of 23 is set in it. Is today Saturday equal to false? Is set to false. My favorite car is set, the value is set in it. And this one, all these are variable names. None of them start with a number. So these are legitimate. If you run these ones, they will work. But in a situation where you have this, in this downside, this is a situation where you have wrong definition of variable name. You have 2 underscore day. So when you run this, it will show an error. And it is pointing, there's an arrow here pointing to this portion that has a problem. There's an arrow pointing to that is showing that there is a problem here. Now, if I remove these 2, and try to run this now, you will see that there's no problem with it. Well, it's still showing an error. No, it's not showing an error again. Then let me try to call it and see if it will turn out a value. I call now we have the value have been set in it. If you did not define it well, this value cannot be set in the variable you have defined. So you don't start with 2, you can start with an underscore. And this underscore, this is an underscore, is not hyphen. There is a difference between hyphen and underscore. Underscore is down, while hyphen is in the middle of the line. So these are some of the little problems that I see a lot of people have while they are trying to define variables. I think this is clear enough, and God will help us not to have such mistakes. And in case you have any challenge, you can go back to these rules. Variable names are case sensitive. A variable name in lowercase is different from the one in uppercase. I think I've already stated that. Okay, in this one, please, who can tell me why this is showing an error? If you understand, if you follow me, please, I want to get feedback. I try to run this and it's showing error. Who can point out to me why this is popping an error? Syntax error. Cannot assign to expression here. Is anyone following me? Hello?
Can I try?
Yes, you are free to try.
Because it is not a...
It is not
enclosed in double apostrophe.
Wow, do you think that is the problem?
And also check in the comment box, people are dropping answers there.
Okay. Okay, let me check that. Okay, it's not properly defined. Special character, yes. Okay, that is good. That shows there is a special character in
the middle.
In the middle, and special characters are not supposed to be part of it. Any slash, any dot, any comma is not expected to be included in the variable name. So we can just come and remove that special character and run it again to see if it will accept.
Okay.
Okay, thank you for your inputs. It shows that at least you are following. Okay, so now we have removed that, and now let me call it. If I call SOOI and run it, you will see the value have been set in it, and it outputs the value below. So when you have similar problems, you can check it and try to figure it out and get going. Okay, so let's go ahead. So we have I think there is something okay, now someone said something that I wanted to say something, but it skipped my mind. I already said strings can also carry single quotes. It can carry single quotes. Just like you have seen, this has worked. So that is not the problem. You can enclose it in double quotes or you can enclose it in single quotes and it still works fine. Okay, so let's just view the comments. Okay, so back to my screen. Can't figure out why my screen is just static.
Okay, since we still have like few more minutes to go, I can stop you from sharing, then I'll let you to share just as we did earlier.
You say?
I'm going to stop you from sharing, then I'll give it back to you to share your screen.
Okay.
I think I just did that. So, okay, you can now share your screen.
Okay. Okay, so thank you very much. It's now active. Okay, so there are some built-in data types that we are going to be looking at. These are variables. We have four variables here defined. Want to know, how do you know data type? We're talking about string, integer, boolean, and all of that. So how do you know that a particular variable contains a data type, particular data type? So that is what we are going to quickly look at here. There are different variables here that have been assigned different data types. So we want to check to know how to find a particular data type. The first one is age, and this is 29 set in this my age variable. Maybe I should change it to 25. It's taking some time. Okay, so when it is completed, there will be a mark at the beside it, so that I will know that it has marked now. So I'll come below here and run the age. Previously 29, but now it's 25. So I will run it here, and you see 25 outputted. But I want to know this 25, is it which data type? So there is a built-in function in Python that helps you to know the type of data you are dealing with, which is the type function. You just type in type and pass in the value of the variable in between these braces and run it. So when you put this my age variable in between these braces and run it, shows that it's int type. Int means integer. So it tells you that this data type, this 25, is an integer. What happens if I change? But we are coming to conversion. Let me just go ahead. So each of these variables, as you run them, you see this is today Saturday. This was set to true. So when you run it, you will see the data type that true represents. It can be either true or false. So when you run this, you see bool, which means boolean. And if you run this, you will see string. like I earlier said, is enclosed with inverted commas. So it shows Boolean. And this one is string. And this one, as the data type is a list. This is how to define a list. You define it with this these strong brackets, and you pass in values in it. This is the first, second, and third value. The first one is Ruben, Victor, and Favor is the third. So you pass in, you want to know the data type that this value is. When you run the type, you will see that it has shown it that it's a list. You can also as well define this. This is, if you pass in this one, it will tell you that it's a tuple. Then you understand that this is a tuple. If you don't know a tuple before, you want to know this kind of data type, you can run type and then pass in the seed learners between these braces and run it. You see that output a tuple here. Tuple we are going to cover more about tuples, but just to explain a little, they are different from list. They are similar, but they are different. This list, a list contains these strong brackets, while tuple contains current brackets. These brackets are different. This one and this one, they are different. So that is the difference. This is a list and this is a tuple. So it has outputted the data type to be tuple. So when you print this, this is what you see. This is the value that has been stored in the list. Okay, I have not instantiated this. I'll run it here first. I'll run it here first, then run this before this down one can work. Okay, so I believe we are following, since we have the material with us. If there's any challenge, you can still forward it down in the chat box. So let's go on to integers now. My time is going so fast, but I need to make speed at this point. Integers. Okay. But now I'll have to make speed because I've already explained most of these things before and others have already spoken with it. So I'll only be touching the parts that are more critical. This is a current year. This is not a current year. Let me change it and run it 2025. This is the value that have been set in this variable. If I run it here, you see 2025 there. The type is current year. You type current year in between these braces and you see the type as int. So you can have a large data set. In other programming languages, you see that there are a lot of data types. You have short int, long, and unsigned int, and many other other things that makes data type very difficult to work with. But in Python, it's very easy. It's very easy. You just have int, and int is all int, whether it's long or short. So, or whether it's negative. This is a large negative int. This is a number, a long number, but it's still recognized as an integer in Python. So this value is being set to this variable, and if you run it, you will see it come out, and the type is still int. Yes, you can't see any long or int short or anyone. It's still an integer. Whether it's a positive long number, it is still an integer, whether it's short. And when it is carrying a dot, I already said that it is, when you're having a decimal aspect, it divides it into the integer part and the float part. So this is as well, this is a this data type is float. So this is a value of pi. You run it to see this. What type is it? Is float because of the decimal point. Okay, so the decimal point may come at the end of the letter. This is still a float type. And the decimal point may come in between the data, in between the data set. T doesn't change, it's still a float. It may come even at the beginning because most time people mistake these things. If I type this, who can tell me the data type for this? If I have this number is equal to .3, I set this .3 into this num. Who can tell me the data type that this is?
It's the float.
Oh, it's a float. That is good because yes, that is great. It's a float because whether the decimal is in the beginning. If you run this, you will see that it will add a 0 in front of that number. So it's still a float. It brings the decimal point in between. Let me run num, and you see the output. Okay, I made a mistake. This is supposed to be M. So this is 0.3. It's a float data type. Okay, so can type another. We have talked about floats. I think we understand that. And another aspect of float data type is when you use exponentials. When you include exponentials in your data set, it recognizes it as a float data type. For instance, you have 100 is ending with TH. You have the value is set to be 1 exponential minus 2. This is the output. It has a decimal point, so it's definitely a float data type. If you come to this one, this is 100. This is This is having a positive exponential. This is having a positive exponential. It is T. Are you calling my attention?
Yes, I'm calling your attention. I wanted to let you know that you have just 2 minutes left, so maybe you should start rounding off.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so let's go ahead. I think we have touched. Since we have the material, we can look at other example of floats. Okay, so let's continue. Anyone that we are able to cover, you can look at the material and ask your questions. So let me just go to the next and just cover. Boolean, we already say is true, is true or false. When it's set to Boolean, you see that it's true, either true or false.
And just a question, are they mutable or immutable? Which ones are mutable and which ones are immutable?
Okay, so a tuple is immutable. A tuple is immutable, but a list is mutable. What you can perform a lot of, sir?
Thank you very much. Okay.
You can perform a lot of adjustment to a list. You can append, you can insert, you can remove, you can pop. Remove. The difference between remove and pop. The pop will delete the last value. Why remove? Remove the middle one. You can do a lot of adjustment on the list, but on a tuple, is immutable. This is immutable. Once they are created, you cannot change them, you cannot remove, you cannot append, you cannot do all those things. So a tuple is more of static, rigid. It doesn't change after declaration. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
We are getting you.
can hear you now.
Hi, we can hear you loud and
The person that asked the question.
Yes, that's clear.
Okay.
It's clear.
Okay, so sorry for...
But I have a question where you are now.
Okay.
Yeah, this function, this code here, you say get an element, negative index, fruits in -2 and is bringing up date.
This?
Yes.
Okay. You see, when you set values in, like I said, it's about indexing. This is how to index, how to assess an index of a variable. This variable is fruit. So you will check where fruits were declared. The fruit variable was declared. And the third index, you will start checking from behind.
Because it's negative index.
Sir?
We are checking from behind because it's a negative index.
Yes.
Okay.
It's a negative index. You start from the last. The last one is -1. The next following it is -2. So if you check the fruits element, the one that is second to the last is the one with a negative index.
All right, that's clear. Thank you very much.
Okay, so what that means you have already, please, you can just, since there's no time, I don't even know which one to touch again. But let me...
I have a question, please.
Okay. Please,
So
Mr. Fred, please, can you, let me get, I think because there is a section for question and answer. So since there is no much time, should we just go into the section?
Okay, yes. Right now we're already going to move straight into the Q&A session because there's really no time. So because I know there's going to be a lot of questions. So, and if you are going to still continue teaching, then that means we'll have little to no time for Q&A. So let's just go into Q&A right away, and then we can have maybe about, let's say, 20 more minutes for Q&A.
Okay, thank you very much. So by that we are done with the process, and now we are up for questions and answers. And I have a lot of people here who can also help attend to the question. I think my team, we are all here. I don't know if Amos is here and all others are here to attend to the question. So to ask the question, any one of us will attend to it. And I'll be here to also do justice to them as much as I can. Okay, so please, if there are questions, this is the time to ask them. Please, I don't know if you will be the one to anchor the questions, or anyone can just ask.
So can I talk?
Yes, you can talk.
Okay, thank you so much for the wonderful presentation. But my problem is from the very beginning. When we imported this, we opened this file from the link that was shared on the comment section. It took us straight to the Google Colab window, and we opened it. Now, we have covered a good part, but still remaining some areas that we need to go back and look at it. So is there any way we can save it, or are we going to access it anytime we come to our Google Colab, or how? Or we just open direct from the link?
Okay.
I don't know if you hear my question very well.
Yes, I got your question.
All right.
Okay, so without wasting time, for me, you can save it. You have opened, if you go to your Google Drive, you should see the version of it. And as you have made changes, please go and save it. There is a place you save it. Come to File, then say save to Google Drive. Save a copy in Drive. When you save there, you can always get it because you have Gmail and you have access to Google Drive. You can save it there so that anytime you go there, you want to use it subsequently, you can just go to your Google Drive and to be there for you. For me, each time I access it, I access the notebook, it reflects in my Google Drive. So I don't need to save it. But if I make changes, like now, I've made changes to this, to my notebook in the course of the training. So I'll have to come and save it. I'll come and save it again. Or you can even save it on your GitHub account, and you can save it, or at least these two places should be sufficient for you to get it subsequently. Hello? Hello?
We are hearing you, sir.
Okay. So, because when it is silent, sometimes I think I'll be wondering if I'm disconnected.
So I have a question there.
We can.
All right, thank you so much. I'm just asking, is it possible for one to make a copy of this your file? Like I go there, I make a copy, that is, I personalize it. Then from there I can upload it onto my own Google Drive and make some changes because using it directly from your link here, most people might you can make changes and it will go directly and also affect your work.
All right, can I come in?
Yes, you are free to come in.
So if you stayed back after the morning session, I took out time. Those that stayed back, I showed you just like he just showed you where to go to File and go to make copy of. That is your copy, and you can make any changes there. So once you have this kind of notebook in Drive, make a copy that will be your own, and then you can do any changes. And what you are seeing here is one of the notebooks we used last year. So if you go to our GitHub, our New Life Research Foundation's GitHub, if you go to our YouTube, you will find all these resources. And we all send this to you prior to this meeting. So if you actually checked all these materials, you must have seen this very notebook. So you don't have to work with his own notebook. You can just save a copy of your own in your Google Drive, and you can use it anytime you want. So you don't save it in his own Google Drive. I don't know whether that is clear. And you also take out time to watch the morning session. We're going to upload it on our YouTube. You will see how I kind of demo it on how you can actually do that. We took out a lot of time to do that, and I think that'll be very helpful.
Okay, thank you very much for that. I'm sure you understand. You understood him very well. So please, you can save a copy of it for yourself that you can always refer back to. You can even make changes to it, customize it the way you like.
Yeah, and one more thing, while we're taking questions, you have the attendance form in the chat box. go to the chat box and click on the attendance and take the attendance. It's mandatory. If you attend this session and you don't take attendance, it's as good as not. If you want to get a certificate in the end, then you have to take the attendance. So please ensure to do that.
I've shared the link again. Some people are asking for the link. Do we have more questions? Okay. This silence means maybe we don't have questions again. Can you please send the attendance link for the morning section? People are asking for the morning section attendance list.
So for the morning session attendance list, that was shared in the morning. So if you are joining us now, we will have to double check your attendance you can just write us an email that you missed to take attendance in the morning, and we'll be able to check to verify whether you were there. Because if we send a link now, maybe probably some persons didn't attend in the morning. So we just want to be sure that we are fair in everything we are doing. So we may not be able to share the morning attendance list now, but just write us an email that you missed taking the attendance list in the morning, and we'll take note of that. Thank you.
Okay, so please, if there are any questions, there are no questions, we may just have to tie up from here now.
Please take the attendance unfailingly. We saw over 80-something people in this evening session, and only about 50 took attendance, or 54. Only 54 for now. Just like in the morning, we had over 90, and just over 70 took attendance in the morning. So that means roughly about 20 did not take attendance. And here we have almost getting to 30, or about 20 something that are here to take attendance.
Okay, please, Mr. Fred, please, can you take over from here? I don't think there are any more questions.
All right. Thank you everyone for the patience that you have shown up to this point, and also thank you to our resource person, Bro Denen Peter Tsaha, for that wonderful presentation there. Thank you for the clarity and the patience that you have shown as well in taking us through the entire process. Thank you. And to everyone who has been of help to us in one form or another, thank you too. At this point, I do not think we have any more item on our agenda. We have come to close, and just like the director had announced, there is a form on the comment section. Make sure you complete that form as an indication that you attended the second session of day one. We are still going to continue the summer school tomorrow, and we are going to start same time, 8 a.m. All right. And hopefully you are going to spread the word, and we'll have more people joining us tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll be dealing with other aspects of the discourse, especially AI. And so prepare, make sure you come with some notes, and also be ready to learn. All right, so at the end of this entire session right now, we are going to be providing updates. So if you are yet to be a part of our Telegram channel, we have a Telegram channel. We also have a Facebook group, just in case for those who join us directly here without being a part of our groups or being a part of our social media channels. So we have a Facebook channel, Facebook group rather, a Telegram channel, YouTube channel. So you can make sure you, we do not have a WhatsApp group. So please take note, we don't have any WhatsApp group. So you're free to join anyone and then get the recordings for today's session on our YouTube channel. So you search for New Life Research Foundation, NELIREF, on YouTube, and you'll be able to see it. All right, with that, we have come to the end. And so we're going to pray right now. We started. I'm still seeing one hand here. Is this hand still active? Say Suahangba. There's a hand there trying to ask a question, or was it for before? I just want to be sure. Okay, all right, thank you. So I'm going to ask one of our brothers here to take us through the closing prayer. Bro Tachia Joseph, can you lead us in the closing prayers? Thank you. Okay, maybe he's not close. Okay, all right. So I'm going to just quickly lead us in the closing prayers. I don't want to take much of our time any longer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this awesome moment where you have led us for about 3, 4, 5 hours, where we have gathered to learn, to up our games and to improve our skills. Thank you for the dedication of our resource personnel, instructors, and TAs. Thank you also for the strength and the patience that you've given to us as learners, as students, to be here up to this time. Receive all the praise and honor in the name of Jesus. I ask, O Lord, that the skills and the knowledge that we have acquired and have gained from this class, Lord, you grant us the grace to be able to execute them and to make them to be worthy in us in the name of Jesus. Help us so that when we go to practice them, when we go to put the work in to make sure it becomes our own, Lord, give us the grace to be able to make it work in the name of Jesus. We pray as we leave this place, for many of us who maybe have commuting to do, and for those of us who have other assignment, Lord, lead us on. May we do it. May we do it successfully in the name of Jesus. And for tomorrow, Lord, you bring us back again as you've done today. Thank you for the victory. Thank you for the testimonies. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. 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 Thank you everyone for joining us for today's session, today's training. It's an honor to have been your anchor person. Name again is still Fredalin Anipa. Tomorrow we are going to start at 8 a.m. prompt West African time. So make sure you are here in time. Thank you so much and do have a wonderful evening.
Okay, just a little correction. Tomorrow is 9 a.m.
Oh, all right, sir. Okay, sorry, a correction has been made. So we are going to be joining by 9 a.m. West African time, not 8 a.m. as announced, please. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.